In the heart of a vast, sunlit savanna, nestled among gently rolling hills and scattered acacia trees, lay the village of Tumaini. It was a place of warmth, tradition, and resilience, where the villagers worked together to keep their community thriving. Farmers tilled the rich earth, herders tended their flocks, and artisans crafted tools, each villager dedicated to their unique role. Life here moved with a rhythm of purpose and unity, a harmony built on mutual trust and hard work. Yet among these diligent people was one who stood apart, a woman named Nia. Nia was known across Tumaini for her notorious indolence. While others sweated under the sun, she lay in the shade of the great baobab tree, watching clouds drift by with a distant, dreamy gaze. While the village bustled with energy and intent, Nia seemed content in her own little world, untouched by duty or desire. Her only true labor was her imagination, which would wander freely from daydream to daydream, fueled by nothing more than her love of idleness. The villagers, accustomed to a life of duty, found Nia's laziness both puzzling and irritating. The elders shook their heads in disapproval, and even the children, as they played nearby, whispered about her. "Why doesn't she work like the rest of us?" they would ask, eyes wide with curiosity. Yet Nia was unfazed by the opinions around her. With eyes half closed and a mind at ease, she simply believed that life was meant to be lived simply, finding no reason to exert herself when the bare minimum sufficed. One bright afternoon, as Nia lay by the riverbank watching the sunlight ripple over the water, something caught her eye. At first it seemed like an ordinary glint, just the sun catching on the river's surface. But this shimmer was different, deeper, richer, and strangely alive. Intrigued, she pushed herself up and leaned closer. Suddenly, from beneath the surface, a warm, golden light surged upward, revealing a figure unlike any she had ever seen. The figure, a radiant fairy named Zara, rose gracefully above the water, her wings glistening like the first dew of morning, her eyes shimmering with the light of countless stars. Hovering above the water, she smiled at Nia, her voice like a song. "Nia, I have watched you for some time. I see your heart, content but stagnant, yearning for something it does not yet understand. I come to offer you a gift, but with it comes a lesson." Nia, though taken aback, quickly grasped the promise of comfort in Zara's words. Grinning, she replied, "If your gift makes my days even more restful, I will gladly accept it." Zara's eyes sparkled knowingly, and a smile played on her lips. "Very well," she said, and with a wave of her delicate hand, she disappeared, leaving behind a fine, glistening mist that slowly condensed into a figure. A maid crafted of magic and moonlight, serene and graceful. Nia named her new servant Kira, and from that moment her life transformed. Kira moved with a quiet, assured grace, attending to every need without question. She fetched water from the river, swept the dusty floors, and cooked meals fragrant with spices Nia had rarely tasted. Each meal was a feast, each chore now a thing of ease. And so, for the first time, Nia revelled in true comfort, basking in this enchanted life, while Kira handled the burdens of everyday work. The villagers noticed Nia's sudden change in fortune with curiosity and envy, whispering among themselves about her new, mysterious helper. Some admired her luck, others disapproved, finding her even more detached from their values of hard work and humility. But as the weeks passed, strange occurrences began to unsettle Nia's newfound life of ease. One evening, as she relaxed in her yard, she reached for her favorite dish, only to find it had vanished from her plate. The next day, as she settled into her chair, it slipped from beneath her, leaving her sprawled on the ground with only the faintest tinkling laughter echoing around her. Nia tried to brush these oddities aside, attributing them to the wind or mischievous animals, unwilling to admit that her blessing might be less than perfect. Meanwhile, Kira began to change. No longer simply an obedient servant, She moved with a quiet awareness, her gaze lingering on Nia with a mysterious, almost sorrowful expression. Her eyes sparkled with a hidden knowledge, as if she could see things Nia could not. Sometimes when Nia wasn't looking, Kira would pause her tasks to watch her mistress, her gaze holding both pity and anticipation, as though waiting for something to shift within Nia. One day, as Kira carried water from the river, an elderly villager named Amani approached Nia. Known for her wisdom and insight, Amani had long observed Nia's ways. Her voice was soft, like the murmur of the wind through acacia leaves. "Child," Amani said, "something is amiss. You seem changed, and there's a shadow in your eyes, as if you carry a burden you cannot see." Nia scoffed at the suggestion. "I am blessed by magic," she replied proudly. "Why should I question my good fortune?" Amani's gaze grew sharp, her eyes dark and knowing. "Blessings come with lessons, and gifts with a price. Beware that you do not lose more than you gain." That night, Nia awoke to a strange sound, a soft, sorrowful lullaby that drifted through her home like mist. She followed the sound and found Kira standing by the window, gazing at the moon with an expression of profound sadness. For the first time, Kira seemed less a servant and more a being with her own story. Tentatively, Nia asked, "Kira, what troubles you?" Kira turned, and for the first time she spoke. "I am bound by magic, yet I feel more than the call to serve. I am here to show you what you refuse to see." Before Nia could respond, the room melted into darkness, and a memory not her own filled the air. She saw Zara, the fairy, standing beside a young woman with calloused hands and a determined gaze, her mother. This vision revealed the strength of her mother's life, a woman once known for her resilience and the spirit behind her work. She was strong, Kira's voice echoed softly in the darkness. But her strength was not only in work, it was in her heart. She knew that to work with purpose is to live fully. The vision faded, leaving Nia alone with her thoughts. She realized that she had lost her connection to her mother's values, buried under layers of laziness and ease. This memory stirred something deep within her, a spark of determination she had forgotten. The next day, Nia rose with a resolve she hadn't felt in years. She joined Kira in her chores, awkward at first, but gradually gaining confidence. She felt her muscles strain, but with each task, she also felt a strange lightness, as if a weight was lifting from her soul. She laughed with Kira as they worked, sharing stories and laughter with the villagers who noticed her transformation. As days turned into weeks, Nia's dedication grew, and she became an integral part of the village once more, her joy and energy contagious. Kira, meanwhile, began to fade, growing more translucent with each passing day until, under a night sky glittering with stars, Zara appeared once more. "Nia," she said, her voice warm with pride, "you have learned what I hoped you would. Comfort without purpose is an empty shell. Now Kira must return, for she was never meant to stay." Kira turned to Nia, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you for setting me free," she whispered, her form dissolving into a golden light that rose toward the heavens. Nia watched the light until it disappeared, her heart both full and heavy with the lessons she had learned. From that day forward, she worked not out of necessity but with a joy that spread through the village. She taught others by example that fulfillment comes not from what we receive, but from what we give and share. And so, the tale of Nia and the fairy maid became legend in Tumaini, a story passed down through generations. It reminded all that even the laziest heart could find purpose when touched by both magic and the courage to change.